of safety and without due process. As states across the country are starting to take tough actions to combat the spread of the coronavirus, what are the legal limits? Making your arguments tonight, Washington Times legal affairs reporter and attorney Alex Sawyer, along with criminal defense attorney Brian Claypool. Welcome to you both.
Hi, Shannon.
Hey, Shannon.
All right, so Exhibit A, Alex, this is for you. Eric Couture, who is one of the plaintiffs in New Hampshire who wanted to be able to meet, he says we can choose to assemble if that's our desire. What cannot occur is one man in a position of power deciding to strip us of our rights in the name of safety and without due process. Alex.
Yeah, well, you know, the states and federal government, they have the ability to exercise police powers for the benefit of society. And so courts generally give them broad latitude in times of emergency. And so a judge would look to see if the governor acted in good faith and if there was a factual basis for his order. And I think here it's pretty strong. This was exercised 3 days after President Trump declared the national emergency. And even in the week since it's been filed, the cases in New Hampshire have more than doubled. So that does go to the rate of spread and bolsters the governor's argument.
Okay, so Daniel Will, who is the New Hampshire State Solicitor General, this is Exhibit B, his legal brief says, the plaintiffs offer no argument as to why risking the life, health, and safety of every individual in the state so they can attend an in-person gathering of more than 50 people within the next 21 days offsets or otherwise overrides the significant public interest in combating the unmitigated spread of COVID-19. Brian.
Yeah, Shannon, I don't think that's the proper standard to evaluate this case. Even though this is a police powers act on behalf by the governor, you still have to exercise what's called least restrictive means with the citizens of New Hampshire. And arguably in this case, you could have done things, for example, like what they're doing in the White House, which is, you know, take the temperature of people that are, for example, entering restaurants and then monitoring people that might have a fever. Even though you're invoking these measures, you still have to honor the Constitution. And I think that the court was wrong in putting the burden on the plaintiffs.
Well, the judge who ultimately ruled in this, I want to jump to Exhibit D, he said the court cannot imagine a more critical public objective than protecting the citizens of this state and this country from becoming sick and dying from this pandemic. So he said, plaintiff, sorry, this is one of those cases where I'm going to side with the governor. So quickly before we go, I want to get you both to weigh in on whether you think we will see other lawsuits like this and maybe people who are locked down in their homes, their livelihoods are falling apart. Do you think we'll see more legal action? Alex, I'll start with you.
Yeah, absolutely, especially as we saw the statewide mandate that went down in California, as well as just this morning the announcement in New York City, in New York. I think that that's going to be a major problem going forward. Although we do, as Americans, look at the First Amendment as one of our pride and joys, it is not absolute. You know, courts have said there can be time, place, and manner restrictions.
What do you think, Brian?
Yeah, absolutely. I'm in the hotbed in Los Angeles County, and rest assured, there are going to be some small business owners that are going to file a lawsuit, and they might have a chance because there is very little evidence. For example, I live in Pasadena. There's 140,000 people here, 4 cases of coronavirus. Why are all the business owners shut down?
Yeah, that's a question we continue to hear, and a very interesting piece in the Wall Street Journal, as we mentioned, by the editorial board saying we have to start looking at the bigger calculus here and the millions of lives that could be upended by people who go bankrupt, lose their careers, lose their savings, everything else. So we have questions to ask and answer. Alex and Brian, thank you both. Great to have you with us.
You bet. Thanks, Shannon.
Okay.